Welcome everyone to the 10-minute book talk. Today we have a really special treat. I'm Katherine Reay. I'm here with my co-hosts Marie Bostwick and Rachel Linden. And today Rachel is our guest. We are so excited, excuse me, and we have our fabulous drinks to celebrate a recipe for a charmed life. Rachel's book, which launched yesterday. So it is available and it is fabulous. So enjoy the talk today, but enjoy the book maybe tomorrow. So Rachel, welcome to the 10-minute book talk.
Oh, thank you, Katherine. Let's cheers.
Cheers. All right. Well, that was my husband ringing through, even though I'm on the do not disturb. So sorry. And by the way, yes, it's really early. So
it's really early. This is water.
Is actually Waterloo Bim lemon lime sparkling water. And cheers to you.
Very celebratory. Cheers again.
Drinking kombucha.
Well, Rachel, give us, you know the drill here. Give us just 2 minutes on this fabulous story, which I'm going to say Marie and I got to read early and we love it. So
good.
Tell us about it.
All right. So Recipe for a Charmed Life is about Georgia, an American chef in Paris who has one goal. She wants to run a restaurant kitchen in Paris, and she has a patron saint of the kitchen, Julia Child, who gives her inspiration, not in real life, but sort of mythically. And in one night, everything falls apart. She loses her sous chef position, her French boyfriend, and her sense of taste. When she wakes up the next morning, she can only taste bitter. And she then, sort of in a panic, accepts an invitation to remote San Juan Island in the Pacific Northwest from her estranged mother, who she hasn't talked to since she was 5. And she goes to San Juan Island to try to regain her spark in the kitchen and reunite with her long-lost mother. And then there is, of course, because it's me, there's food, there's travel. So Paris, San Juan Island, but there's also a second chance at love with a grouchy oyster farmer who's really good in chest-high orange rubber overalls, and he lives next door. And for some reason, he loathes her, and she loathes him right back. But is it love?
It's
completely charming.
It is such a great book. And from the very first chapter, she is this sparky character. I mean, you just are like, oh, this girl has a spine. I loved her right away. And the oyster,
you start her so quick.
Yeah, and I texted you when we got to him in the orange overalls, and I was like, humana. And I'm an old broad, so if I'm saying that, just trust me. Anyway, okay, enough about that. Rachel, it's like the whole idea, losing your taste or only being able to taste bitter, that's so intriguing. Where did you get the inspiration and idea for this book?
I thought of Georgia first, and I wanted a character who just goes for things. I have a pet peeve. I do not like a lot of characters I read. The women are very, they just let things happen to them. They're very kind of, I don't know what's the word. They don't act a lot on it. Yeah. And I really dislike reading that kind of heroine. And so I started asking myself with Georgia, like, what if she just did things? And sometimes they're not good ideas, but she's really determined. She's really fiery. She gets herself in trouble sometimes. And from her character, things started to spin out. So I was thinking, okay, so what if there's this determined, capable woman who's pulling herself up by her bootstraps in a really beautiful, hard city, doing what she loves, everything's within reach, and then she loses it, and she has no ability in her own power and strength to get it back. So what she has to do is actually seek a different way and seek help for the first time, and really tap into the things that she's lost in her quest to succeed. And so that's what it's about. And really, it's about identity. And it's about forgiveness and forgiving those we love when they hurt us, those we love most deeply when they hurt us, which I think a lot of people can relate to. So it's about finding your place in the world. And it's about how do we forgive ourselves when we mess up, and how do we forgive those we love when they mess up and hurt us.
You hit all these themes really beautifully, but you also hit so much of the detail of research really beautifully. The feeling of Paris, the food, all the different combinations. I mean, it's actually on the page hard to construct food and your place settings in San Juan. How did you do your research, and what were some interesting research sort of rabbit holes you went down for this?
Well,
Farming one of them.
this was a delicious book to research because a lot of it's about macarons and about French food, and then it's about oysters, and I love all of those things. So the first thing I did was I hadn't been to Paris in years, and I was on my way to a conference with my family, and so we just stopped in Paris for a few days. So I did on the ground research. It involved eating a lot of macarons, which I gotta do.
Going the extra mile, Rachel. Going the extra mile for suffering for art. I just love that.
So wandering around Paris just to remember what that city actually feels like. And I really enjoy Paris. I love the vibe. And I just wanted to refresh myself. So it was basically just eating a lot of delicious things and walking around Paris. So that was charming.
Best research ever.
And then with San Juan Island, it's actually a place that I've written about before. It's very special to our family. My husband's family has a cabin there that they built by hand. So we go every year with our family. We have a wonderful time. It's a really important place to us. So that didn't take a lot of research because it's just steeped. It's something that I love and enjoy. It's a place that I know well. But oyster farming, I like to eat oysters. I had no idea how to grow oysters. So I went to several oyster farms that we have because I'm in Washington State and we have a lot of oyster farms, and talked to a lot of oyster farmers and did research. And so now I'm like a novice, not an expert, but a novice at oyster farming. So I learned a lot of things. And then, of course, you have to sample what you are writing about. So there was a lot of consumption of oysters on beaches with wine. That was the other part of the research.
Again,
she suffers for art very well, Marie.
So no, it's really, her dedication is just, it gets you right here, I don't know. Me, the only reason for oysters is mignonette sauce, but it's so that isn't so much my thing, but that does sound pretty amazing. So there is a lot going on in this book. And then there's kind of this little, touch of magic in the book that I really love when she meets her mother. And I don't want to give too much away, but there's a lot going on here. But I was just curious, what excites you most about this book? Was it the setting? Was it the specific characters? I mean, what was the part that, like, when you're writing, you were just typing really fast and just having the best time?
Good question.
I'm going to tell you that because the typing really fast and having the best time was about the setting and the food and the fun, yummy stuff that makes this an enjoyable read. But the thing that actually has lingered with me is the complexity of mother-daughter relationships and the complexity of our close family relationships. And we all have mothers or mother figures in our lives, and that can get very complex. We love them, and also they drive us crazy sometimes. And there are these very complicated dynamics. And in my own life and the people I love that I'm close to, I'm aware that it's sometimes really tricky to know, how do you love someone who drives you a little bit nuts? And how do these dynamics, how do we be our own person, but also love the people who raised us? And so this book is really dear to my heart because, and I actually, it's dedicated to my own mother, who I adore, and also who sometimes drives me crazy and I drive her crazy, because it's looking at the complexity of this mother-daughter bond and the concept of forgiveness when people who are close to us hurt us. And so that's what really has stuck with me in the story, and the message, the thing that I hope people walk away with. I hope they love it. I hope they have a fun time. I hope it feels like a yummy escapist treat. But at the end, I also hope that everybody's walking away going, okay, yes, this is a little bit more in their toolkit about how do we handle those complex dynamics in our families and those that we love.
Well, from my point of view, you absolutely accomplished that, in that I was wrapped up in all the deliciousness of the story, but I did not miss the depth you brought to it. So really, really well done. Really well done. Now, before you leave us, Rachel, I don't know if you know this, but we have one question that we ask everybody. So, Rachel Linden, author of A Recipe for a Charmed Life, what is bringing you joy today?
Two things. It is, it is winter in the Pacific Northwest, and it's sunny today, which is beautiful and wonderful and rare. And then the second thing is, I have a very dear friend that lived across the square from me in Budapest, who's coming in. She lives in Greece, and she's coming in for a few days. And so I'm so excited to show her our island and our little town and have coffee with her and just enjoy a chat from someone I haven't seen in a few years that I dearly love. So those are the things that bring me joy.
Is
I think you need to take her, on an oyster hunt. I think there should be oysters.
Oh,
right?
Little
Genius.
wine, some oysters, some macarons afterwards.
Yeah, all the things.
All the things.
There
So
you
perfect.
go.
Thank you for having me as a guest on the 10-minute book talk.
So welcome.
You're
So everybody,
welcome.
Recipe for a Charmed Life launched yesterday. So it is available. Please go grab it. You will not regret it. It is an absolutely delicious experience, and we hope you love it. And please join us again next week at the 10-minute book talk for more fabulous discussions on all things bookish. Bye-bye.
Bye.